How's it going? Here we are once again at the Chascomús train station. And today we're going to take the longest route you can do on the trains in the Buenos Aires metropolitan area. Using the Subicard 230 kilometers by train, we're going to go from Chascomús to Zárate, and I'm not going to do it. Only Gabby Schreiber is here, who has a YouTube channel, a railway niche channel, so go follow him.
When you told me, hey Gabi, let's do Chascomús to Zárate, I thought we're going to be traveling for 8 hours, man.
I love spending a week on a train, so it doesn't gross me out anymore.
And after having traveled almost like a hobo in Cameroon, central Cameroon,
it's like that's nothing. 1,201. The train is about to leave, just a few minutes left. We're going to catch it here. From here, we'll go to Korn, from Korn to Constitución, and from there, from Constitución, we're going to take the subway to Retiro, from Retiro, the train to Ballester, and from Ballester, the train to Zárate, the entire metropolitan area of Buenos Aires, done in a single day using the railways. We're going to use the Sistema Único de Boleto Electrónico card, there we go, and we'll see how much the whole trip costs. I calculated it based on the information we have on the website with the schedules and everything. It would cost something like 3,700 pesos, adding up the train from here, the subway, and so on. But when you travel with the Sistema Único de Boleto Electrónico card and less than 2 hours pass between one trip and the next, it gives you a discount. So let's see how much we spend on this trip when we get to Zárate and tap the Sistema Único de Boleto Electrónico card. Let's remember that we're at the new Chascomús station, which is known as the Ferroautomotora station, and it was inaugurated not long ago in 2014.
Yes, exactly. In fact, the original idea when electrification to Korn began wasn't for it to end at Korn. It was supposed to reach here.
Electric trains should run all the way here to Chascomús.
It should, whether it does or not.
That's another story. Now we're going to get on this traditional Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile car.
Fun fact, these Fiats could be seen, for example, on the San Martin line before the current CSR cars with their SDD-7 locomotives arrived.
Are these the ones? This is a full-fledged railway car. I mean, if you call me a railway car, that's an understatement.
Another thing to keep in mind when this rail and bus station was built. The main idea wasn't just to bring electric services here to Chascomús, but also to connect with Route 2. I mean, are you from the southern area? They built a huge parking lot near the rail and bus station, so you could just leave your car there and that's it. It made things easier.
No, it didn't make sense. If that's true, I'd just drive to Mar del Plata myself.
Yeah, totally, no.
No, it's not like that. We're in the most comfortable spot possible on this train. Here, Gabi is sitting in front of me and I'm on this side. It's like having the little table on the train to Mar del Plata. And the good thing is, you have the window open. It's not hot. Today, while we're filming, it's nice.
We got a good day, yeah.
It's January. We're filming this Monday in January, but it's a pleasant day. Another advantage we have here is this porthole back here where we can see life and get some nice shots that you'll see as we go on this journey. We're seeing that the train going this way toward Korn at this hour has quite a lot of people, and you wouldn't believe how packed the train coming from Korn to here was. Completely full. 12:01 right on time. We're leaving from Chascomús, and that's even after they waited a few seconds for a guy who was coming with his bike. Because remember, there are 4 services a day, so if he missed this train, he would have had to wait 2 hours for the next one. It's 1:50 post-meridium right on time. We've arrived at Korn. It took us almost 2 hours to cover about 80 kilometers.
On a train that could take an hour less than it does. And that's because the tracks are in terrible condition.
Just so you have an idea, here the sleeper, which is what lies between rail and rail, as you can see there, made of wood, of quebracho, makes it slower. They're older. The English put them in back in 1965. They're 160 years old now, the ones that have been renovated. That sleeper is made of concrete, and that allows the train to go faster. Something I'm not sure should be done or not. If we transfer here, we get off this train and get on the other one. If not, well, just in case, we'll do it. It showed me that this trip costs 1,020 pesos. We crossed the bridge to go from the diesel train that brought us from Chascomús to the electric train that will take us from Korn to Constitución. Here we swipe the card again, and then when we leave, we'll see how much the trip cost us. Luckily, we got a Chinese train, which are the ones with air conditioning. All right, Gabby, did you watch my Chascomús video? What does it say in Chinese there?
CSR is China, South Railway is very difficult. No, well, I don't know how to pronounce that in Chinese.
Zhongguo Nanjie. Zhongguo is China, Nan is south, and then we're going to go to the north, which is Chongguo Peiche, which is the same, but from the north.
I have more news. None of that is valid. This company no longer exists. CSR and China Northern Railways were all merged into one called China Railway Rolling Stock Corporation, which is like China Central. Basically, yes.
1401, we're leaving on time from Alejandro, Korn. 2 services we've taken so far, both left on time, 1 arrived on time. Let's hope this one goes the same way. Bye.
Yes, I trust the Roca.
What's your favorite nursery rhyme? Just not the drug one, please. Topo tries to get cancelled but can't, see?
The truth is, I've always been more of a San Martin fan. Since I'm from the northern area, the capital, kind of like San Martin, it's kind of close to me. But it's true that lately I've grown really fond of the Sarmiento, and now it's my ride every Tuesday. Since we're here, let's do a little plug for my show. Boleta Única every Tuesday from 6 to 8 post Meridium on Way Streaming.
The gentleman is a political scientist and does a stream there with people from different political ideologies. Having a liberal, a Laretista, a Kirchnerista, a leftist, and a Trotskyist, and the gentleman, you could say, or the gentleman is a rare specimen that maybe you guys are too young to know about. You may not recall, but there was a party called the Radical Civic Union Party. Here it is, like a 4-leaf clover.
It's funny. I left and don't see myself as part of it anymore, so it feels weird.
It's like those who renounce their faith, similar to what Catholics do, basically. I think it's worth clarifying that Roca is my favorite line, not just the Roca interurban, but the Roca all the way to Bariloche, all the way to Bariloche. It's the line that has it.
From the Rayanes, we go back to the Rayanes.
My favorite train is the Patagonian, formerly the old Roca line. 14 and 58. We have arrived on schedule and we are at Plaza Constitución Station, one of the most beautiful stations in the Argentine Republic. Inaugurated in 1987. This building was operating in 1965, but it was inaugurated in 1987 and completed in 1933. Toda la majestuosidad. What makes it special? We've been spending 1,450 pesos on the train, 450 here.
That's $1. We've spent about $1 so far.
We've done about 115 kilometers in total. And from here, from Plaza Constitución, we have to go to another one of the main terminals in our city of Buenos Aires. A very beautiful building, just like this one, which is the Retiro station on the Maiter line. And for that, we're going to take line C of the Buenos Aires subway, 765 pesos. He charged me with the Sistema Único de Boleto Electrónico card, the subway. I think he gave me a discount because it's usually 1,200.
Yeah, he gave you a discount. It's from the network combination. If you take 2 or more trips with the Sistema Único de Boleto Electrónico card, the second one is 25% off and the third one is half price.
In the car belonging to Line C, in this case, a 200 series from China Northern Railway's China North Dane Railroad, which is Tungquo Peiche. The northern rail lines merged with the southern ones, as Gabby mentioned, and now it's the central line.
Exactly.
It's the reunification.
The railway reunification.
Yes, like the 2 Koreas, but with Chinese railways. The story of Subway Line C is pretty crazy because it has a history that really characterizes Argentina, so to speak. Just so you have an idea, the first subway line, which was Line 1, was built by the English, the Anglo-Argentine Company, which is what we know today as the line. Back in December 1913, the service was inaugurated and started operating from Plaza de Mayo. The thing is that the Anglo-Argentine Company, after the crisis of '30 when everything collapsed, the agro-export model fell apart. They started losing money and said, whoa, that's it. They were already building other lines like this one, but obviously they couldn't continue, so what happened? A company appeared called Shadow PIZ, which was the Spanish-Argentine Public Works and Finance Company. In 1934, they decided to build their Line 1, which started by connecting to Plaza Constitución, where we are now with Diagonal Norte, which is below the obelisk, but at that time the obelisk wasn't there yet, and then in 1936 it continued towards Retiro. The interesting thing is the way they financed it. Why? Because they issued some negotiable bonds. What is that? Basically, they took on debt, but from people who were interested in financing the construction of the subway. Who were the contributors? people connected to the company. The Spanish community, for example, store owners who were mostly Spanish, hotel owners, and so on. Spanish immigrants who had a little money decided to invest their money in the construction of the subway so they could later receive long-term interest. Supposedly, they were going to be paid back in 30 years with an annual interest rate of 7%, and it was a good deal for both sides. It was good both for savers who trusted in the construction of the subway and for the investors. The curves they make are terrible. We are now at Independencia Station, something that characterizes this subway line and shows that it was built by a Spanish-Argentine company. The thing is, in its stations there are tiles that represent different places in Spain. For example, this one here says Landscapes of Spain, Seville. And this line was even known at the time as the Spaniards' line. Look, it's interesting that it's written here in Arabic. Do you remember the presence of the Moors in Spain? Now, not everything was rosy on this line. Why? Because after the crisis of 30, England negotiated the Roca-Runciman Pact with Argentina. And in that pact, we basically bowed down to the English. And besides all the terms about meat for England, the management of the meat packing plants by the English, they also decided to take control of transportation in the city of Buenos Aires. As a consequence of the Roca-Runciman Pact, the Corporation of Transportation of the City of Buenos Aires was created. And this corporation was a mixed company with both state and private participation. Those who participated in it were British capitalists who were interested in taking over the subways built by the Spanish-Argentine company. Line C, which at that time was Line 1. And also other lines that they had partially built, like the current Line D and the current Line E. And what happened there? When they evaluated the assets, they undervalued them. And this here, in 1943, after Farrell's coup d'etat, it was decided to nationalize the Transport Corporation's debt. And years later, a restructuring of those negotiable obligations was carried out. It happened. There, the interest rate they were paying went from 7% to 3.5%, and they started pushing the payments further into the future. The debt, typical of Argentina, is one of the many financial scams the country has suffered. And it turned out that about 30,000 savers got caught up in it and invested more or less. Los Angeles area of the estaban en debt. It has just been reactivated, just been reactivated, it has just been reactivated, and it has just been reactivated, it has just reactivated, has just reactivated. Angel D. Cada uno que compraron. Independencia Station and the time of Independencia Station, El Station. Thank you.
There are only a few left. They are 2 units from Japan that came with 20 years of use in the Nagoya subway. In fact,
and they're the ones that cause cancer, right? Well. The Buenos Aires City Transport Corporation ended up going bankrupt. A lot of things happened until in 1963, the Buenos Aires Subway Company was created. I have that fond memory from my childhood of having traveled and seeing the signs here that say Buenos Aires Subway, and especially noticing it on the tokens I used to pay with. Until the 90s came, and in 1994, the subway lines were granted in concession, and this became part of Metrovías. It was a combination of companies where Benito Roggio stood out, but there were several others. For example, there is one from that group called Cometrans, and nowadays, since 2021, it belongs to Emova, whose main owner is basically Benito Roggio. And now we've gone up the escalators and we're at the Retiro train station, which is also majestic in terms of cost. But this one was inaugurated in 1915. Previously, the central station was used, which was next to the government house, but in 1897 it caught fire. And well, years later, this palatial station was finally built. Well, here in my Retiro. My friend Gabby found a Burger King, and not only did he find a Burger King, but we're both vegetarians and they have a vegetarian burger. It's not really recommended because of my triglycerides, but well, it is what it is. I'm taking care of myself with water. I'm not drinking Coke anymore, guys. And I paid for Burger King using my Coco's card, this time from my phone, taking advantage of near-field communication technology. And not only is Coco the best tool for investing, I'm making some good money, there's a good amount of cash with my mutual funds. And you can also earn points that give you some incredible benefits. There are trips, hotels. I'm collecting points so I can say, man, I'm going on vacation. Do you want to come somewhere, Gabby, somewhere? Yeah. Since we're at it, let's go with Coco's points. If you want to download the app and ask me, a mole around the world, how do I do it? I don't get it. Boom. I'll leave a link in the video description and you can download it there. You can start trading and also earn some points to get benefits with all their options. Let's see how this is. No, that's amazing. The taste of ultra-processed food, nothing compares, right? It's tough having to drink water. How I miss you, Coca-Cola. We've been there for about an hour, resting at Burger King, and now we're going to continue on our way to Villa Ballester to connect with the train that's going to Zárate. The next train that's going to leave is at 4:35 post-meridium. It's 4:20 post-meridium now, but the 4:15 post-meridium train is delayed. So we're going to take that one just in case the other one gets delayed and we don't make it to connect with the one to Zárate. It's estimated that it takes about 40-something minutes to get from Retiro to Villa Ballester. And the one we have to take is to José León Suárez. I've scanned my card again, and we'll see how much they'll charge us when we get to Zárate. Retiro is a historic station, and it appears in an Oscar-winning movie, In the Secret in Their Eyes. At the moment when Darren goes there to Jujuy, times when you could travel all over the country by train. From Retiro station, trains to Córdoba and Tucumán have historically departed. What's really going on? Am I making sense? Just a few months ago, the service was suspended, supposedly to make maintenance improvements on the line. But according to a statement made by the Brotherhood, it's most likely that the service won't return, which is terrible. I mean, we're experiencing a ferocide, which makes you feel powerless. It's terrible because they're finishing off destroying the little we managed to save to rescue the country. When it comes to our railway system, and as you can see, in this place, there isn't a single train available right now. So you can realize how few trains we have, and it's a weekday, almost at the time when a lot of people are leaving work, rush hour is starting, and there isn't a single train on the platforms about to depart. And there are some who say that the railway is disappearing because there are other forms of transportation competing with it, which is completely absurd. Let's look at the major world powers with different perspectives from the United States, China, Russia. All of them continue to maintain and develop the railway, even the United States, and in the United States it is still state-owned. I always share this fact to emphasize the railway's importance. When the 2001 attack happened, the railways were the main means of transportation that saved logistics, communication, and people's travel. In the United States, once again, we find ourselves in a CSR unit.
Exactly here, all the units on the MITRE line are CSR.
I don't know, the train arrived and as soon as it got to Retiro, we're already leaving at 16:49, exactly 14 minutes late. We talked a lot about the crisis of 30 and as a consequence of the collapse of the agro-export model. In Argentina, there started to be a lot of unemployment, especially among the immigrants who were coming to the country. And as a result, next to the port, the so-called unemployment village was created, whose first settlers were Polish. So we were the creators of the shanty towns in Argentina. Today, it is the Padre Musquita neighborhood, also known as Villa 31. For Beltran, Briones is a premium area where people who are not from his social class shouldn't live. Something paradoxical is that on one side we have one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city, and on the other side of the tracks we have one of the richest areas of Buenos Aires.
An important fact to keep in mind is that the Roca line is powered by a pantograph catenary with alternating current,
a roof cable connected to others supplying electricity.
He has to translate it into a language you understand, or I'll just say it in that language. But the MITRE line uses a third rail with direct current.
Basically, if you're going to cross the tracks of the MITRE line, do it in the permitted areas, because if you cross elsewhere, you'll get electrocuted. We're at Drago Station. I have fond memories here from my time as a university professor when I taught economics at the CBC 20,000 pesos an hour.
Look,
Today you're going to get it for just 5,000 pesos. Ah, well, that's good, that's good. It's 5:30 post-meridium and we've arrived at Villa Ballester station. Here, we're going to transfer to the Bisel train, which is over there. We've already been traveling for 5.5 hours. There you can clearly see the third rail that Gabby mentioned, terribly beautiful. Villa Ballester station was built in 1895. It's still original, almost without any restoration. Let's see how much this costs. Since we're racking up trips one after another, I already have a negative balance, 360 pesos. You practically come out onto the street of Villa Ballester and you have to cross that tunnel over there to go to the other side and catch the train. Bisel, thank you, thank you. A real pleasure. Here we are walking a bit through the streets of Villa Ballester and I'm surprised by the huge mural they have on the walls. Villa, look, station, look, what a beauty, folks, if you come to Villa Ballester. I highly recommend La Guarida Gym. It's right in front of the station, the best gym in Villa Ballester. They let you use the bathroom and give you hot water. Thank you so much, huh? What would be advisable is for me to start going to the gym, but anyway, we're starting to go into this tunnel. I really love railway tunnels. They're so Soviet. And here, as the little sign indicates, we have the train to Zárate and...
as it should be, Chicklin, and here we are.
Look at this, what we found here right in front of our platform. A car from the Argentine Federal Police, and over there, old cars from Ferro Central, that company that used to run trains to Cordoba. And for example, in 2009, the person speaking to you had his derailment, my first and only one so far. Well, everything was going perfectly, 5 hours recording in different places, and here, waiting in Ballester to go to Zárate and do our last stretch, the longest one of all. A friendly security guard asks if we have filming authorization, saying people upstairs want to know. He mentions hearing that 2 YouTubers are on this train to Zárate. Apparently, that's us. Yeah, what are you for the mitre? No, our own channels. What are you going to talk about? Look, we're doing the longest trip with Subentrin from Chascomús to Zárate. We've been at it since the morning. I was really tempted to tell him. I've recorded trains in Montebello, Norjaverberg, and Kokkola, and those cities were never the same afterward. We were more than late waiting for the train to Zárate. It was packed with people waiting for the train to arrive. This route is a connection for the entire urban sprawl of the Buenos Aires metropolitan area. When we talk about the AMBA, where is the AMBA? What is the AMBA? Well, here it is. We could say that Chascomús is isolated from that AMBA, but not entirely. It has a train with 4 daily departures that connects Chascomús to the city. That is, anyone can go, buy a ticket, and travel. You don't need to reserve a seat, nothing. You just go to the station and travel with your Sistema Único de Boleto Electrónico card and a mole. A tip for those who are backpackers, actually. People who like to hitchhike, thumb a ride, carpool, hitch a lift. I don't know what you call it in your countries. These 2 routes are ideal. Why? Because you can go all the way to Chascomús and Route 2 is right there. And you head straight to the coast to the south of Buenos Aires province. Or you take this train to Zárate, walk a few blocks, go to the Zárate Brazo Largo Bridge, and right there the route starts to go to our Mesopotamia. Top tip for hitchhiking, instead of standing on the road, go to a gas station and ask someone, "Excuse me, I'm heading that way. Could you give me a ride, even just part way or to a nearby gas station?" Simple hitchhiking tip.
We found out the reason for the delay of this train. The locomotive just grazed a car that was on the side and was about to cross. I mean, we almost had a major accident.
I'll update you on the latest news. The train we were going to take, 1808, was cancelled. Now we're waiting for the next one, which is 19-something, and it's the last one. It's now 1955. Almost 2 hours after the scheduled time, the train has just arrived to depart from here. We have the GT22 already coupling up to take us to Zárate. We can see that this unit is a Fiat like the one in Chascomús, but the seats are arranged a little differently. And unlike the train we took from Chascomús to Kolm, in this case there are 2 cars, the other one had 3. It's 8:01 as we're leaving from Villa Ballester to Zárate. The trip will be about 75 kilometers. How long will it take us? Less than 2 hours, but here everything is just an estimate. We're 2 hours behind the original schedule. Here we have the little map of the route. We're leaving from Villa Ballester, Pantalar and Pacheco, plus Buix, Escobarrio, Luján, Otamendi, Campana, Kilometer 83 Zárate, 10 stations. What do you think, Gabi? Naz? Will it take 2 hours or less?
No, I think less.
That's it.
It came to light, I think less.
We just got the order to close the windows because they're throwing stones. Now the thing is, if it hits the glass, you're in trouble anyway.
No, because it has reinforced double glazing.
He only throws stones, just a couple of heavy ones. We're out of danger now, Gabi. Can we go down? Nothing happened, right?
No, generally speaking. Of all the times I've come here, at least in Suarez, nothing has ever happened to me. And now, something interesting that subscribers and everyone watching this video will be able to see. It's the huge contrast because we're about to enter Nordelta.
We're going to go from a marginalized neighborhood in our metropolitan area to one of the richest neighborhoods in all of Argentina. Look at how the wind is blowing my hair, huh? The wind is styling my hair. First stop, Bancalari. It took us 13 minutes to get here.
According to the modernization plan for the Mitre line, the idea was for Bancalari to be a kind of transfer station. So the rich people from Nordelta could take the train. Can you imagine them traveling by train? Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nordelta, one of the most exclusive neighborhoods. Let me tell you.
People don't look bad, they look good, but you can see some people who come from neighborhoods that don't look very nice. And honestly, I don't enjoy being in Nordelta, looking at the lake and seeing people who, like they're on a beach chair in Mar del Plata, go to the dock and drink, mate. No.
Look at that full moon over there. It's spectacular. Something important to point out is that this train, as well as the one to Chascomús and obviously the electric services, don't have a bathroom. And there aren't any in the stations either, and there aren't any trash bins. In fact, I just saw some little kids throwing the wrapper from their alfajor out the window and their parents doing the same thing. You think everything is easy and normal in my life, right? No, we're at Escobar station and the train stopped here.
How do you get from Chascomús to Zara? Having trouble?
Yeah, Gabi, you're bad luck. What's up?
Some people are already calling me bad luck, since this isn't the first time this has happened to me with the Concha line.
We've been traveling for 8.5 hours. It's 9:30 at night.
They make you wait 15 minutes knowing it's not going to continue. Instead of letting you catch a bus, they waste your time, the buses leave, and then you're stuck.
But you say another train is coming?
Yes, but it comes in half an hour.
Well, we have people angry, and rightfully so, because they're coming back home from work. And they cancel one service, then another. They don't match up with the buses. It's terrible. It's not that the train service is bad, but they make it run badly because there's no budget, no money, no resources, and a lot of other things. These small things make us think the country is declining, and eventually we fall apart like a third world country. Hold on. I said, well, the station has bathrooms, the bathroom. Come on, man, just give me a break. This reminds me of, there never was a monorail and there never will be one.
No, ma'am, there's never been a monorail here.
The only thing I'm going to ask of you is one thing. Everyone watching has to leave a like and subscribe. Because many times during the course of this trip, we almost said, Che, let's go back. That's it, with all the delays we're experiencing.
The Pope and Gabriel, did you almost give up? My channel followers know Topo never does. If you haven't already, give it a like, hit the bell, all those things. Subscribe to Gabi's channel too, which is growing, and we hope it reaches 100,000 followers soon. The train has arrived again. It's 9:30 at night. Think about it. In some places, you travel 200 kilometers and you've already crossed 3 countries or at least changed provinces. Here we are, still in the same province of Buenos Aires. It's 9:40 post-meridium and we're here, leaving from Escobar in 20 minutes. We're about to hit 10 hours of travel.
Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, there is a civil war in the Republic that has to happen. We're going slow, really slow. What's going on?
The old man was really crazy. Long live Perón. He said he wanted them to take the shot, everything. being 10:20 at night. We have arrived in Zárate after having spent exactly 10 hours and 20 minutes covering approximately 230 kilometers. In 10 hours and 20 minutes, it wasn't bad. Gabby, what do you think?
That I'm sleepy, and above all, I'm very hungry.
It's incredible, but we don't know exactly how much we spent yet. We'll add it later. Once you see it in the Sistema Único de Boleto Electrónico app, I'll let you know and convert it to dollars for those watching from abroad. My idea was to end the video at the Paraná River, looking at the Zárate Brazo Largo. We're heading back to capital since we got delayed. It got dark, and we hadn't planned to stay here. Next to the station, there's a transfer terminal where we're going to catch this bus, which drops us off perfectly in the once neighborhood. Thank you, Gabby, for joining me. It's important to say something. It's not that the railways are useless. It's not that the railways shouldn't belong to the state, but rather it's about those who manage the railways on behalf of the national government. They're inept and can't make it work properly. I hope you agree with me.
I totally agree. The railway has everything it needs to be wonderful, and because it's poorly managed, it works badly. That's all. There's no other reason.
Guys, thank you so much for being there, and see you next time.